Let's Loud turns, takes down Kuro on the bay. The buyback has forced Nigma Galaxy to back off, but they've got that Aegis. Sonic Wave comes down on the GH and Mind Control, not enough to burst them. GH, he'll be left in the pit to die. He'll buy a bit more time with the stun, but he'll still fall. RPW tries to have a jab into Aramis, but he can't quite finish him off. He's going to retreat now, still has the and the Aegis off to be popped. And he's just the back. Mind Control, great vacuum there to stop the charge through. Miracle turns with the Laguna Blade. Supreme's getting beaten down low. They're taking out the Dragon Knight. They may have lost the Aegis, but they're more than happy to take that trade, bringing down Supreme and continue with the chase. They've got their eyes on a hand scan and they've got the off his teeth. Yeah, Nightmare from Kuro puts a stop to the escape. Nigma Galaxy, they'll take the fight off the back of being able to utilize that Aegis rather early after the pickup, but in a way that Alliance were really trying to force it. Nigma Galaxy, they don't mind taking that trade at all.
Yeah, it's just this is one of these games where like everything is going like close to 50-50 or 60-40 because you don't really want to just instantly lose the Aegis like this. I think this probably goes worse for Nigma Galaxy if Mind Control doesn't hit such a nice back wall, because that was a 4-man combo, right? So it's like, if he doesn't hit a combo like that and they're actually able to take ILT's Aegis without losing a death for that, then that's a really great trick for Alliance.
Oh, look at this GH. He's deep upon the other side of the river, sending upon to Supreme. See Aramis trying to help out, but despite Carapace stopped his charge through this. Catches them just on the edge of it there, Miracle. Two-man luck strike locking down Supreme and Handscan allows them to take down both of them. As Alliance again have just got to run away from Nigma Galaxy. Nigma Galaxy, they're ready to push down mid. That BKB done on top of the bots. Miracle is now a tough target to get to. We've certainly been sitting at Mind Control on the Ducks, making life very hard for Aramis. I mean, to be fair, both him and GH. The lane was a bump, now Aramis, he's feeling sort of the issues of them. Top lane, they will get GH with the damage from Nico, baby. But the Spike Carapace and the vacuums definitely cause issues for Aramis trying to get in on the front.
Yeah, and Miracle too is always there. Like every single time you see one of these combos, Miracle comes in with like a stun. Like he's been in the right place at the right time.
Nico baby wants to go with the God Strength there. Oh, the hook shot not quite able to reach onto Kuro. Now they're ready for the turn. They've dropped the wall. Fiend's Grip locking down Nico baby. Miracle heads over. They have the burst. They bring down the Sven. Again, also the fall here as he's locked down in his own cogs. Double kill for Miracle, and after what's been a close start, still the gold isn't that much different. You can really feel things are ramping up from Nigma Galaxy and Alliance there, you know, especially in those situations where they're losing their Sven. You know, Nico baby has been as farmed as he is so far. It's definitely got to hurt for Alliance.
Dude, I want to see a replay of that fight, because I'm pretty sure that Centaur walked in and stunned Clockwork. This neutral Centaur, he may have been able to interrupt the grip otherwise. Let's see. Okay.
So, did he actually? I mean, there's 3 heroes. He's going to go for the Storm. You're right.
Oh, my boy. Oh, the neutrals. Oh, God. Sometimes they just work against you or with you. Usually against you. Yeah, that's something. It happens. Miracle is 6-0-4. This guy has not died. This is a very squishy hero. I like him being on Lena, too. I feel like this makes sense for this team. Like, Nigma Galaxy tends to do the best whenever they have Miracle on something that can be a like scaling farming type. He's a really like carry from the mid lane type player, which I suppose makes sense given his carry proficiency in the past. That looked maybe like accidental dust.
I mean, what's happened? Well, I believe it's sort of smoke, Jenkins.
No, he dusted right before that.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So now he
he dusted and smoked. Oh,
he dusted, then he smoked.
I was like, you question the smoke? Oh, yeah, okay. If there's a dust.
Because you could just smoke first.
I mean, GH has been pretty sneaky. You got to check for him in all these corners.
He's really rattled them. Yeah, I mean, he's been a pain. There he is again.
Yeah, he's certainly been an issue for Alliance this game.
They've got sentries on every lane, though. So.
Aramis. He's going to fight Kuro up on the high ground. There is backup, and Kuro finally fall, but the time's been bought for them to get the trade onto Handscan. See if they can get more. Nico baby have a run with this BKB. If they're able to chase this down, they might just be able to. He's in with the Diffusal Blade slow. Miracle from the high ground. Light strike away is there. The damage isn't quite enough. Aramis charges over, able to hold them back and keep Nico be alive for now. Nico baby will be saved. If the trees he goes, TP's away. They're able to get the Sven out this time alive.
backing off here makes sense. I think Miracle not having to be like really in this game, he's your true carry. Ursa, much more of an early hero.
Aramis having a tough time again, charge past Nigma Galaxy. There's just so many heroes to put a stop to his tracks.
Yeah, we're getting to the point where the tankiness of all of these heroes is really negated by a hero like Ursa, where it's like you want to take these long engagements if you're tanky in general, but if you're Queen of Pain with Sanjin Kai, you're about blinking in, blinking out, taking, getting rounds and rounds of your nukes off. Same with these like tanky armor heroes such as like the DK, the Sven. But Ursa, he just tears through it. You want to take these long fights, he gets 40 stacks of Fury Sweeps on you, just murders you.
There we go. Nigma Galaxy, they can feel the momentum they're running with now. 18-8, they're racking up the kills. But these smokes, they're ready to keep them coming in. As Hanskin goes down, Supreme having to dive into the trees to get out alive, back to base for him. And Nico Baby just very carefully trying to work his way out in this bottom lane, keep that farm rolling in. And it's getting more and more difficult with how quickly and viciously Nigma Galaxy is just sweeping the map.
I mean, I feel like Alliance probably could 5v5 at a point. I don't think that they have to be playing this scared. I
mean, they've got to be pretty, because Nico Baby's still pretty strong, right?
He's huge. Yeah, I mean, he's got his BK, but it looks like they want to wait for the blink timing or a pickoff.
Nice hard. Gone to RTW. And they know he's not alone.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, so, okay. Nico didn't get his ult, so I think Alliance, they make some rotations here, TP rotations, but it's not the worst thing to back off here. So, okay.
I mean, if things don't step up now, they're going to smoke up behind Nico Baby. Nico Baby doesn't quite have the blink dagger. It's probably sort of calling for to wait upon. But Alliance, probably as you say, they realize they've got to have, they stand a better chance of making something happen now.
Yeah,
before Nigma Galaxy get another couple of
exactly. It's one of those things where Nigma Galaxy's like they're running around the map, they're snowballing, they're getting kill after kill, and it doesn't feel like something that needs to be happening if you're Alliance. It's like you don't need to be that scared. You're not some huge deficit right now. It's only 2K. Your Sven is still second in net worth. He's 3K ahead of the enemy carry. Like, you can fight. I mean, especially if you're waiting on a high ground here. We'll see if Alliance can position where they break this smoke. Doesn't look like it.
For sure. I mean, the only thing a BKB Sven's got to be careful about is the Fiend's Grip, and they've got ways to cancel that.
Aramis, okay. Smoke break. They don't want to fight. They still don't want to fight.
Yeah, Aramis charging out. They're making a full retreat here, Alliance, by the looks of it.
They really want this blink, man.
Yeah, they don't want to go before it. I mean, we saw that, especially when they move over to the enemy jungle like that. That wasn't a move to get kills. It was just a move to find a part of the map that was safe and they could stick around and keep Nico Baby protected. He's got the blink now, so
it's working. I mean, they did just get a little bit of a... It went from 2K to 1K because Nigma Galaxy wasn't farming at all.
They were just chasing across the map.
Yeah.
So now Blink's there on Nico Baby. You would imagine if that situation happens again, Alliance this time, they'll be happy to face them head on.
Probably.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. This is what they've been working.
Yeah. Nico can now catch the backliners. Yeah. He can catch Kuro and he can catch Miracle with this blink.
Here we go. Start things on to GH. It's an easy kill. What can they get? Will be able to knock back Kuroki. And the vacuum wall down onto the three of them. Nico Baby, he'll jump over the BKB and the God Strike. Hook shot over towards Miracle. They caught him in the cogs. He's able to break his way out with the Shadow Blade. He'll get out of there. They did have to dust upon him, but he was too speedy for the rest of them to catch out. Nico Baby still wants to make some more happen with this God Strength. Gets jumped upon by ILTW. Sonic Wave pushes back Miracle and Mind Control. Nico Baby's in over the tower. Jumps in for Miracle, takes out the leader, but the bash is there from RTW. Dancing gets the kill, but he dies for his efforts. Now Alliance have got to retreat. Without their Sven, without Nico Baby, they don't have too much left to offer. I mean, Leslow's still looking for action. Has to blink away there before RTW gets him and potentially gets a lucky bash. Mike's control. He's got the drag back on the Supreme. Fiend Script, it's up and ready. They lock down Supreme. They'll be able to take out the DK as well. Alliance, they built up to this moment where they wanted to fight. They get a decent start to it, but at the end of the day, the dive under the tier 2, it doesn't pay off for Nico Baby and causes them to lose both himself and Supreme.
Yeah, that's definitely not what you want from the reveal. I mean, I suppose you kill Miracle and he's the top net worth by, well, only 600 at this point.
I mean, that was the call to make, right? He sees him under the tower.
No,
if I jump, I can kill him,
yeah.
But then what?
Yeah, exactly. There's not really much to get him out after that point, and then...
And now you're losing Roche.
You're losing Roche. You've got an Ursa on the enemy team.
Yeah.
Yeah, this for
On bottom. Oh,
Roshan
Quite able
has
to get him
fallen
there.
into the
nice try though. I
poison.
mean, Lelis was walking, flailing around like a madman down there.
he knew.
He does know.
Spider senses.
Yeah.
So back on track for Nigma Galaxy with the Aegis in the hands of RTW, working on towards the Satanic. Alliance, I mean, would you imagine as soon as they're back up and sort of refueled on the ultimate cooldowns that they'll be getting back out there with the smoke, even though there's the Aegis? Or do they have to sort of sit back and wait for that to
Dire's
pass?
bottom tower
What do you
is
do
under
now?
attack.
The Aegis is not a miracle, and so I think he's probably the hero that they want to kill first in every fight.
Radiant's top
So
tower is
you
under
can
attack.
definitely smoke if you're Alliance.
Dire's bottom tower
However,
is
I know
under
that there
attack.
are just a lot of players these days especially that just say, okay, there's an Aegis. We have this ability to like stall out and just farm. Like, let's just do that. Play a high ground, see if somebody walks up.
See here. I mean, they
Radiant
knew
are
that there's
scanning.
a chance that Miracle might come over towards Zone Triangle, but not to be the case. They'll go from in the mid lane, see if they can lock him down.
Radiant's top tower
Charge
is
into
under
the stun,
attack.
they'll do it. They bring down Miracle, a quick pick off. Same time, though, down bottom, Leslau. Oh, he gets out. GH not quite able to land the combo off the back of the Yules as Leslau's into the trees. I mean, this is pretty good. If Lions don't lose anything off that first kill, they could maybe even turn this to more good favor for them as they charge over towards the bottom. Alliance, they want to keep this fight going now. It's 5 versus 4. Ults in onto the Nyx assassin. They'll take down GH. Hansken with the hook shot over into the trees, gets Kuroki. And they're not done yet. Supreme, he's looking for more. Mind Control is able to blink out in time. Him and LCW are back off. But this is what Alliance were looking for. Quick pick onto Miracle, take down the Lina, and then take the fight to the rest of Nigma Galaxy whilst they're mid's out of action.
LTW's
He's got an Aegis, so he feels strong.
he might just
He's going to be all right. Still pretty beefy, and of course has that backup of Mind Control behind him with the Greaves and a potential surge. So he'll be able to hold the tier 2.
sure. And I guess also they were looking at the cooldown of God Strength. In fact, Nico Baby walked through a ward, and so they immediately saw him right at the start of that. As soon as he pressed that, oh, miracle.
Can he solo this?
I don't think so.
I don't know. No, he cannot.
That's a big tanky Sven right there.
I mean, yeah, he's going to have to need some TP backup coming in. He knows that there's almost certainly going to be coming a charge his way, and the rest of Alliance are also trying to see if they can catch Miracle off this. He's got the BKB, and we'll use it a turn and stop Nico Baby from chasing. Now the backup from Nigma Galaxy's in. So a bit of a bait maybe from Miracle as Nigma Galaxy turn up in their numbers to take out Aramis. Let's see if they get anything more. Nico Baby should be all right. Links back up. He's away from it all.
Yeah, cool. So that play is just off the back of the God Strength cooldown. Nigma Galaxy, that's the reason that I think they run in bot with only 2 heroes, and then they do this bait top. Oh, Lelis has got to be careful.
Let's see if Miracle can get him this time.
Oh, he bounced in place.
He's certainly getting him there. See if this buys time for the reset from
that's enough.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
Second round of the stun. Finishes him off. They take out Leslau as well.
Bane Lina, that is an old classic right there.
Back in the triangle. See RTW and GH in trouble. Well, I say that though, maybe with the turnaround, the vacuum walk from Mind Control, it's Alliance that are the ones that got to watch out. There's RTW committing here onto Supreme. They'll take down the DK. Nico Baby and Aramis, they've also got to get out. They tried to fight with the God Strength. Nico Baby turns with a stun to hold back RTW, but with the blink fall from Mind Control, Nigma Galaxy, they're ready to dive into the trees. Past the tier 3, not quite able to get a touch in onto him before the blink out. A Miracle is there waiting for it. Popping the BKB. Aramis comes in with the charge, but Nico Baby too low to turn and punch back. They have to get themselves back to base, Alliance.
Radiant's top
As Nigma
tower
Galaxy,
is
they'll
under
get the
attack.
kills and push on, get this tier 2 tower as well.
And Nico Baby, for his last 2 BKB
Radiant's
uses,
top
they've
tower
both
has
had
fallen.
to be super suboptimal. It's like you have this play top without God Strength, he's pressing BKB, which allows Nigma Galaxy to make this play into the triangle because they know Sven doesn't have a BKB. And then once again, he's using the BKB after his God Strength. It's one of those things where like one decision a long time ago has chained into this end result of a 4K gold lead for Nigma Galaxy. I mean, it was dead even at that top fight.
See what they want to do mid. They're keeping time on the Aegis, 30 seconds until the Aegis expires on ILTW. Definitely something that both teams will be having in mind here.
He's got a Satanic now on ILTW. I feel like this is a really huge timing for Nigma Galaxy. It's just so much effective HP when he presses Enrage. Like, it's super hard to burst him. He's got too much HP to burst, and then he can just Satanic to full HP. I feel like this is a big timing for Nigma to win the game right now. Like, even without an Aegis, I think they're super comfortable fighting. Yeah, they go for a smoke. Like, I just don't see how Alliance's heroes kill a Satanic Ursa right now. Like, you have to chain things perfectly.
Still to do with the in-range and also having the shard on the bat.
More fuel for my fire.
Hanskin is looking rough.
It's not become a fun game really for the supporters of Alliance.
No.
Fansken and Aramis getting torn apart at this stage by Nigma Galaxy's heroes.
Yeah, Ursa especially just doesn't care at all about Spirit Breaker or Clockwork. Two melee heroes that want to get in there, and Ursa's like, whoa, okay, I'll take it. Yeah, so it's really tough game for them. There does come a point where Ursa just, with whatever items that he has, becomes kiteable. Like, Alliance will definitely be able to kite him at a certain point, but like the next 5 minutes are really scary for them. Because once again, this sequence of spells you need to press to take down an Ursa right now is just borderline perfection.
Put the setup on a Nico Baby, but backup is there. GH, he'll quickly die off this. Miracle did find the opening stun, and into the grip they managed to lock down Nico Baby. Gets the BKB off, but it's too late. As Nico Baby's out, and Miracle's ready to close the gap for more. Heading in to Supreme. BKB at the ready. They lock down the Dragon Knight. They'll take themselves another. As a quick response there from Nigma Galaxy. GH starting that whole affair there, and it works out perfectly for them.
Yeah, they've been hunting non-stop during this game on Nigma, and I mean, it makes sense. You have a Leno to travel who's able to farm and then get there eventually. You have an Ursa who wants to be constantly fighting.
Tower is under attack.
500 damage on Scream of Pain, eh? That's quite a lot. He's going for a Lincoln Sphere. It's defensive. I mean, all of these Queen of Pain items are very defensive, and I'm kind of thinking, like,
Radiant's middle tower has
if you're taking long engagements versus a Satanic Ursa, Lena who's sitting there constantly, like, spamming you out with spells and attack speed, you're gonna lose.
Losing the base right now. Alliance mid barracks taking a beating. Nico Baby up in 10 seconds, but so Mr. Supreme's trying to jump in for this. They're going to be able to quickly turn and definitely threaten his own life. The Supreme's got to run. Charge over from Aris, over towards RTW. Lets it out, committing to the BKB. Looks towards the Silver to jump out, and a heal up from the Greaves will get the majority of Nigma Galaxy away. GH will be left behind, and look to be the same for Kuroki as Aramis will be able to catch him. The ultimate, actually, the high ground. If they've got anything to stop this in time, they do. Supreme in with the Dragon Tail, stops the escape of the Bane. They'll be able to get the two supports, but of course the damage already was done. They did lose their melee racks in the mid.
Yeah, that was almost really bad for Nigma Galaxy. There was no Satanic Enrage had to be used right at the end there. So ILTW definitely could have gone down here if things played out a little bit differently. Not having that Satanic, I mean, he's just got the Enrage to work with at that point.
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing time and time again just how aggressive he knows he can play because of the backup of Mind Control. Always there with the heal up for the Greaves and Surge. He knows when to bail RTW out, and RTW knows that he can rely on that. Mid lane, I get the good control of the drag by Nico Baby's jumping. He's going to try and commit here on towards RTW, but he's having a run with the BKB construct. Another time when Nico Baby has to just get himself out. Aramis charging over on towards Miracle, but Miracle turns with the Dragon Slave, brings down Hansken. Supreme's been dealt with by Mind Control, and by that time they have no trouble taking out Aramis at the end of it all. And Nico Baby still having to run. GH is trying to chase this and see if Nico Baby can survive. He is into the trees and TPing out, but again, it just sort of goes to show how it really feels that Alliance's lineup missed their timing completely, and we only really saw once them able to make a good move around Nico Baby's farm as a Sven. Other than that, Nigma Galaxy, they've just been in full control of the map and of the game itself.
They're playing the fights really well too. Like, I really like that ILTW, he keeps going on Nico Baby, and it's one of those things where you think, like, oh, you know, why is he doing that? Like, you're not going to burst the Sven, of course. This hero's so tanky. It's because if he goes on Nico Baby's the only person that's going to be taking down Miracle in these fights. So as long as he sticks onto Nico Baby, it means Miracle can just be the true carry. He can just sit there and kill everybody else, which is precisely what happened in that last fight. What's been happening in so many of these fights. Miracle, there was one time where he got gone on.
You see that the jump in for Nico Baby is exactly as it goes for Miracle, and as soon as RTW starts to get his claws on him, Nico Baby has to bail.
Yeah, there's no damage for him without the Sven. This is just great identification of what you need to do to win team fights, or the way that you would lose team fights, and then just countering it. It's just really smart.
And they're back in now, Nigma Galaxy with the Aegis and the cheese. 15k lead, a couple of heroes dead on Alliance. Looks to be pretty close to Nigma Galaxy being able to seal this deal here in the first game.
Radiant's middle tower
As
has
the tier
fallen.
4s are falling, Alliance, will they have one final fight in them?
Radiant's middle tower.
We'll see if they try. Oh. A bit of an early BKB coming out from Miracle. Aslow himself also trying to put the back of the stunning wave with the bridge there. Okay, Nico Baby jumps into the back line, he's able to find the Bane, takes out Kuroki, but now they have to back off. Full combo from Miracle laid down onto Supreme. The Dragon Knight's life coming to an end. As Hansken and Nico Baby have only got moments left to lift themselves as well. Hansken taken down, the tier 4s to fall, Ancient exposed as GG is called. Nigma Galaxy, they'll take this game one. As they were really feeling it this game. 39-18, 17k lead. They were absolute killers. And Alliance, they just couldn't keep up, Jenkins.
Yeah, I mean, so Nigma Galaxy, the way that they played the fights was amazing. The way that they were hunting constantly was also great. It's almost like they were playing based on how scared Alliance was playing. You know what I mean? It's like they sensed that Alliance didn't want to fight. And so they just kept hunting across the map. But I can't help but think, could you, if you're Alliance, just have taken a fight earlier? Like, did you have to play that scared? And I mean, just a tough game for them. It felt like Nico Baby versus the world. It really felt like that, and it just was so much kiting for him. And
Alliances
And
turn
the first
to
game
ban.
won by Nigma
Dire
Galaxy.
team ban.
Question is, can Alliance bounce back? Can they find something that works
Alliances
better for
turn
them?
to ban.
I think it is, from a player perspective, it is fairly easy to look back at that game, T, and say, well, you know what, we didn't draft ourselves up for success. Clean slate, go again.
Yeah, I think that's a nice way of looking at it, because this was a game where Alliance also could have maybe tried to find a
10
moment in the game where they
seconds
really sync up all of their timings. But again, Nigma did such a good job at
5
offsetting
seconds
those timings, be it shutting down the DK and laning phase or giving Clock 0 games so even though Sven was able to farm, he couldn't make moves. Like, yeah, it was just all around a
team
difficult
back.
game, and Alliance just need to, shake it off. You're allowed to have some bad games here and there, and then come back swinging in the second game.
I think for Alliance, they don't want to give an offlane Queen of Pain to their offlaner anymore. I think they've gotten very used to having these anchor type of offlaners on their team, like the Mars or the
10 seconds
Beastmaster or
remaining.
even the Doom or the LC that Wallace is known to play.
Alliances turn to pick.
And I think they should stick to building their team fight around that. It'll very much simplify the way that they're going to approach mid-game fights. Because at some point in the last game, it really looked like they couldn't do anything. It was very clumsy. It was just an SB charging in and sometimes getting interrupted. Unless it was a pick-off,
10
there really was no
seconds
clear
remaining.
way for them to take a 5v5 fight.
Yeah. And this is now where Alliance
team
last time, they first picked the Queen of Pain. This time, they do it again. But, like we mentioned, this potentially could just be Supreme. You're playing it mid. It doesn't matter if they go Lena. They have banned up the Nyx this time, so maybe Nigma doesn't want to go, because Nyx Lena is actually quite a nice opening. Like,
10
they cover each other
seconds remaining.
quite well. It gives you this
Dire team
drafting kind of just
alliances.
safety net. They go for Lena. So what's going to be the replacement to Nyx? Like
I have a question about the Queen of Pain, because we've seen ILTW be the one playing Queen of Pain, and he's not the only one that plays that on the safe lane. Has Nico Baby played Queen of Pain in his pubs on the safe lane? Do you know this?
No.
10 seconds.
No,
think
he
he
hasn't,
has.
or no, he
I won't lie, my brain
Yes.
thought you said Lena, and I was like,
5
No,
seconds
sorry.
remaining.
Yeah, no,
Alliances turn
yeah,
to
cool.
ban.
Right now,
Yeah.
but I mean, as far as the safe lane Queen of Pain goes, I really like that idea, and I was hoping they would do that last game actually, because we have seen Nico Baby been open to try these more unconventional safe laners. We've seen him play the Shadow Fiend. We know that they're able to flex their draft in that way. So I don't think it would be a bad idea
10
because Supreme
seconds
does seem to
remaining.
be a more farm-centric kind of mid player as well, and it could be something
5
that could fit for
seconds
them
remaining.
the same way it does for Enigma.
Yep, he played. So in pubs, he's played one
Dire
game
team
where
ban.
he did unfortunately lose the game,
Alliances
but he has
turn
played
to
it
ban.
once. I think for me, for Alliance, it's just if you pick Queen of Pain, sure you're playing into Lena, but at least just put it there, still have the same type of game, get the rotations in, offset the game. Because again, like Cop v Lena will beat you in like the farm war,
10
but you can at least
seconds
rotate
remaining.
slightly better. In which, when you hit 6, you just TP to a lane, you then create the
seconds
momentum
remaining.
on the side lanes, and then you recover the mid lane through just better movements on the map. So I'm hoping that they, like Effie mentioned, they don't put the Quap in the offlane role, because I'd love to see it. Or if they are to put Quap in the offlane role, at least have a mid that can go toe-to-toe with the Lena in a degree where it's not like, we now have to save this lane as well, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Dire team
And
ban.
I think that it makes sense for Enigma to prioritize this Bane for Kuro. It is his most successful support so far this DPC season. And by picking this hero, you can kind of guarantee that your safe laner is going to have at least a relatively decent lane every time, even if he is playing against
10
something
seconds
unfavorable.
remaining.
Like last game, they had the Queen of Pain versus the Ursa, which shouldn't be good, but the
5
Bane was able
seconds
to make it so
remaining.
that ILTW left that lane very happy.
Yeah, I think that reason alone, actually, they might even just,
Alliances
that
turn
probably
to
will scare
ban.
them from wanting to even put Quap off lane. Because Bane did so much work there, eating up these daggers, having the brain slap to get the HP back, and then, of course, if it's a real fight, you can then, Nightmare disengage. So, for sure, Alliance's sake, I think they're going to be rethinking this Quap off lane potentially. Or, again, like we
10
mentioned,
seconds
maybe they have a
remaining.
better way to play it. Maybe they've realized if we go aggressive on the wave, get
5
two first, we
seconds
can actually kill them
remaining.
off. Or there could be variation, but for sure, like Nigma isn't really changing up because that last game, their laning setup was very, very clean.
Yeah, both teams also not using a lot of bonus time until just now, or reserve time rather.
For Nigma, it's the difference in their draft is the fact that they're going to have to open the second phase, most likely with their position 4 hero, where last time it was just a casual Bane. And Nyx was a really, like, in theory, it was like so solid because it's so generic, right? But the other fours don't really fit that bill, right? Like, you don't really want to pick a clock here. Earth Spirit's kind of like fallen off. There isn't that melee hero that exists unless I'm missing the hero.
I think Beastmaster could be a good replacement for Nyx, not as a 4, but just as a hero that provides vision to start the fights off.
Not anymore. Alliance has recognized the same thing. They just banned it a second ago.
Yeah, so the thing that Nyx served the most was just being able to open up the fights simply by just letting them see where heroes are, because something like vision is so valuable for a squishy hero like Lina. And just to talk about squishiness and being run at, Alliance going for the same opener basically implies that they want to play the same style of just aggression and run at you. It didn't work out for them last game, so they do have to enable their lanes a lot more if they're going to play like this. Because of how badly their lanes went last game, they weren't able to do the pick-off, hyper-aggressive, choke out the map kind of style that these two heroes ask for.
The hero that I thought about could be Tusk, for like the melee style of hero. Just a lane winner in the right matchup, and also it fares pretty well into Cop Barra, because you can snowball dodge a lot of the spells. If they ever are out of position, the shards are high value, and it gives them that skirmishing style that they want. Also Roshan potential.
And I like that idea of Tusk actually, because in yesterday's game, RNG played it to perfection. The Lina and Tusk together, those two heroes did so much damage. So seeing Tusk come back into meta because of a hero like Lina being so strong would be really enjoyable. And it definitely is a GH hero, so I really like that idea too, but not sure if they're going to go for it here.
Yeah, because again, like for drafting style, when you're in this position where you have 2 counters now later on in the draft, it feels so nice just having it be your off lane and your carry, right? Give your off lane this perfect pick, your carry the perfect pick. Like, it's hard to lose a game when you set yourself up to not have bad lanes and you're countering, right? That's why like position 4 in theory sounds good here. But also Nigma, they might change it up, right? They might just pick another flex core, keep everything open, and then get GH on some like Skyruff style of hero where he can have a good game. Again, it really depends, but that's why they're taking so much time. Is it going to be the position 4, or is it another flex core to keep themselves within this draft, forcing Alliance to think a little bit more? Yeah, they actually use so much time here.
They are using a lot of their time here, actually. So, yeah.
It's like in this scenario, it's like if you want to go for like a Dark Willow or some like ranged position 4, you're now having to think about, okay, so are we now picking like a Kunkka or another melee hero that can be so tanky quickly to offset the fact that we have 3 ranged heroes?
Oh, you know what? In my head, I was thinking this is a nice Grimstroke game.
Soulbind is a very valuable follow versus Spirit Breaker and Queen of Pain. You don't want to make the mistake, though, of pressing it on Spirit Breaker when he has Bulldoze up.
Yeah.
A lot of people get baited by that. No, that spell will be drastically reduced, so always click it on the hero next to him, just to be safe. But yeah, Leash is very valuable versus 2 mobility-dependent heroes, such as Queen of Pain. This hero also provides wave clear, which only Lina is doing so far, which is just going to give them more space to play. But by picking Grimstroke, they do need to pick durable heroes in the next 2. I don't think 1 durable hero will be enough, because this backline of Grim, Bane, and Lina is so squishy.
And you want something to put your Inkswell on that goes in, right?
And last game you had the Nyx and the Ursa and the Darkseer. They were all offsetting this squishy backline, but now the Nigma don't really have that kind of replacement.
Yeah, some cheaper damage now coming from Alliance, not falling into the trap of multiple initiators. They've now got like Spirit Breaker is going to be the kingpin here, where he goes in, and it's going to be so much damage from the Snapfire Multiple Kisses or a Quap. Like, you're going to sacrifice him in the game just to unlock everyone else.
They could do Snap Mars again as well if they wanted to.
Sure,
yeah,
that's
why
fine.
not? I mean, that is going back to where they started, kind of, this tour.
Yeah, which also means that the Spirit Breaker could easily be just the 5 here. Or no, still the 4, Snapfire 5, yeah. But for Nigma, I still feel like some Kunkka, some anti-aggression style of hero to play, or even completely mix of that. If you want to go aggressive, you pick up like a Night Stalker. You play on that vision, you have the Inkswell to initiate the hero, and you never allow them to get those clean fights. But they go for the Kunkka, okay.
They kind of have to, because they aren't really left with heroes that fit the role of durable. I'm going to soak damage, and I'm going to kind of stand in front of my Lina. They also need to do that with their 5th pick hero. The Kunkka alone is not going to be enough. And speaking of the Mars Snap, it's a really great game for these 2 heroes, because until the Kunkka, if they have vision of the snap, which they don't really have any heroes that can provide, she can cast her Mortimers uninterrupted in this arena. There's really no hero that threatens her, because we're going to assume that the priority target in the arena is going to be Lina.
Yeah, I think the main thing for Alliance, and we've seen this already before Christmas at least, was when they pick up these heroes that, like, they'll lose the first game, the second game, they'll answer it with, okay, now we have this big team fight of this combination. But if that combination doesn't get the full effect in that one fight, they're not very good heroes at taking secondary fights, third fights, whilst their cooldowns are, ticking through. Right now for Nigma, it's like their heroes, there's nothing really that you need to wait on. If Bane uses a grip, you've still got like an X mark on a Kunkka. If Lena uses whatever, like she's still clicking, right? So for Alliance, they now have better heroes to take fights, but they need to make sure they're not afraid to be able to take like that one decisive fight, because they can easily be picked apart when they don't have that perfect combination of Mars and Snapfire.
And being in your comfort zone in terms of heroes might just be what they needed to make sure that they're not afraid and more comfortable and confident going in and taking the fights that they want to take.
Sure, and of course, if Quap is now just back in the mid lane here, that's the type of hero that can get that early game going for you. So it's very comfortable to play, because when you have the lead, it's very easy to use the spells how you want to use them.
5 seconds
All
remaining.
right, one more hero left for either. For both, looks to be their carry. I mean, we can still see Nigma Galaxy switch it up, of course, with ILTW and Miracle. Am I saying that right? No. The Kunkka probably offlane. I think we still need an ILTW hero.
The beauty of it,
swap Mind Control and ILTW.
Kunkka could easily be offlane here. It could also easily be carry, right? This is the beauty of having this pick priority. Is Alliance, they need to reveal something to then give the Kunkka its true home. So for Alliance right now, so you see Nigma banning up the Void.
I would like for this to be a carry Kunkka, actually, and I would like to see some kind of backline blink initiator type hero come out for Nigma, because if they don't have that, Alliance's draft is just gonna kind of be one step ahead of them every way. They need some kind of hero to just put it all together.
I still love Night Stalker, personally, for Nigma.
Yeah.
I think that's super annoying to play into, because we just mentioned the idea of you have a Mars Arena plus a Snapfire. If you have a hero that cuts straight to those heroes, they have to use the spells to get rid of this hero, unlocking everyone else to play Dota. So.
We talked about the combination earlier. If Kunkka is indeed carry in this case, is Darkseer still on the table?
Luna.
I mean, now that
He can be now that there's Luna.
Yeah, now there's a Luna for sure.
Luna makes the hero a lot more appealing, but it's going to be a much harder lane for him this time around.
Yeah, like Luna is one of the best heroes just dealing with the tanky offlane. You can push out the wave quite nicely. You have Lucent Beam to kind of poke and prod them. So very much it gives Alliance now a hero to play around. So if they don't have the big spells, you've now got this like BKB satanic hero that can just stand up front and click through. And Nigma aren't really going to be killing off this hero. Also Grimstroke. Much later into the game, we might even see an Ags on Grimstroke to eat through the Luna as well.
And that's the strength of Grimstroke. Dark Portrait is always going to give your team that +1 hero when it does come online.
And there's a nice Stalker. Good call, T.
Thank you very much. Yep.
Yeah, so thankfully it is a carry Kunkka, and I'm glad they did go for this Night Stalker, because now Lena is enabled what she didn't have this game that she lacked last game.
That's a Hanskin Mars, by the way.
Position for offlane Baron. Okay.
Position 5, Mars.
5, sorry, yeah, of course. Oh, dude, I'm thinking of Older Alliance there. My bad.
3 Spearbreaker.
All right.
Do we like this?
I mean, Mars Luna is actually a pretty annoying lane, because Mars, you've got so many damage sources with your Spear and your Boot. It could be a devastating lane compared to Spearbreaker, which is a slightly weaker hero if it's a 5. And sure, I actually don't mind it. It gives them a way to give Niku Baby that perfect lane to hit the creeps to get to that point where it's Luna able to tank up. So I don't mind it for giving Luna the game.
I was actually going to favor Alliance's draft before I saw that it was a 3 Spearbreaker, and I can understand why, because he really couldn't have much of an impact last game. That they do need to give that hero a little bit more net worth so repeat doesn't happen. But I think with the Night Stalker pick, they've really given Lena a way to take these fights easily. They've got the vision advantage. They've got 2 durable cores who can just run in and soak for her. And Nigma's draft, I like it.
Yeah, it's
go for them again.
a little bit more straightforward than Alliance draft this game. Check to be sure Night Stalker is indeed played by Mind Control. I thought you're leaning over for exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it's not like a Fata 5 Night Stalker and Kuroki suddenly changing up.
One thing that I did notice is that Grimstroke will be the 5 and GH will play the Bane as position 4. So maybe that Ags not going to happen anytime soon. For the Grimstroke, no
You can rush it.
Philosopher's Stone really does wonders.
That's true. That is true. So do we have a clear favorite for this game too? Are we going to see a game 3, Effie?
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, Alliance's draft looks a lot better.
Yeah.
I think there's question marks to be posed about the swap between the Mars and the Spirit Breaker. I mean, we could all be wrong, and it could just go super well. So if it does, we could. But for now, I am leaning towards Nigma.
Ars Luna is a strong lane, but I like the overall cohesiveness of Nigma's lineup.
All right, well, let's find out how this game will end up together with OD Pixel and Jenkins.
Thank you very much, Steve. Yes, game 2 of Alliance versus Nigma. Galaxy, Jenkins, what do you make of this? We've had the 2 lineups. Are you excited to see some support Mars here from Hansken? And is it going to be enough to sort of round the rest of his team, bring us to a game 3? Or could things be tough once more for Alliance?
Well, I think in general, I like Alliance's draft better, just because I feel like they have Lelis on a hero that goes in and does shit. And I think that even the games that Alliance has lost, Lelis, when he's playing on these more playmaker type heroes, he still looks really good, and he still is involved in every fight. The early game goes pretty well, and then maybe they lose in like the mid to late game or something like that. So for their preferred playstyle, I think this draft makes a lot more sense. However, the Nigma draft is some S-tier level draft. Like, this is super good. You have Miracle on Lena, who, of course, like, this team looks amazing when he's playing these right-clicking scaling type heroes. Night Stalker, who's going to be giving him all of this vision. They have the Kunkka carry, which is this new meta frontliner carry that
Lena's at the back.
Exactly, just chunking away. And you've also, like, usually when you have Alina as a mid, you're building into these damage items. Like, you don't just want 1 tank, you want 2 tanks. That's preferable, just because, you know, Night Stalker can be going in on 1 guy and pushing away the back lines, and then on the front line, like when the fight splits up, the Kunkka can be tanking for you. So it's nice to have just that redundancy of like a couple of tanks. So in terms of just drafting, like, this Nigma draft looks amazing in terms of its cohesion, like the panel was saying, but then also in terms of their preferred play style from when they've been winning, because at obviously the start of the tour they were looking rough, but this is what we've been seeing them do when they're winning.
What does this say to you, that you see that this game, obviously Alliance, they started their drafts off with the Queen of Pain.
Yep.
Last game it seemed very much that kind of Lena was thrown in there like, well, you know what, we're going to take it to the off lane, get Supreme on something different. This time Supreme or whoever said, you know, we're going to keep the Queen of Pain mid against the Miracle Lena. You know, do they sort of fill you with confidence that Supreme sort of said, I can handle this matchup, or do you think he is going to have a tough time against Miracle?
Well, this is one of Supreme's best heroes. It's one of his favorite heroes, so I would say that it's one of those things you talk between the game and you figure out, like, okay, maybe the hero just doesn't work the same from the offlane, or at least for us, because like I said, Lelis being on a playmaking type frontlining hero, like, this is always when he's been the most successful, no matter what team he's on. Yeah, the Queen of Pain offlane last game, I think we were talking about it, after the game. Like, maybe if you're playing Quap as an offlaner, you don't want to go for the Sanjin Kaya build, because it feels like one of those things that's really good when you're ahead and you have a level advantage. But from an offlane perspective, like, what was he doing in fights? He was just kind of going in and ulting. That's all we really saw from Lelis in that game, and it's one of those things you have to see it in a game to know how you feel about it. And it just feels like after that game, offlane Quap should probably go different items than mid Quap. But they're not even doing that this time. He can do the mid-quap build, which is currently OP. It's going to look perfectly fine in this game.
Let's have a look. See how good of a game Supreme can have against what was quite a solid performance from Miracle's Lena in the first game. And this time around, maybe even in a matchup where Miracle's going to feel that he's even more favoured in the laning stage. We'll see how well it's played and see if the Alliance are able to bring in any backup around that mid lane early on. And how does sort of the dynamic work then with the support Mars? You know, what's the plan here from Alliance? And do you think this was the plan all along when they went through their draft?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think they probably planned on having the ability to flex it, and I think this would probably be just, if you have Lelis on your team, he's one of the best Mars players on the planet, so
why is he not playing it this game, do you think? Like, why not put him on it? What do they not like about putting the Mars in that higher priority?
Maybe it's that they think Spear Breaker is better with higher priority. It's like less about the Mars, more about the Spear Breaker. Just with items, with levels, with farm, he's going to be a lot more disruptive in this game. Or just like a player preference thing. Maybe they just weren't feeling the Spear Breaker in a support position last game. I know there's a lot of players that currently have that attitude towards the hero. People think that it's a bad support, but it's actually much better played on 3 and in mid position even. It's just like a common thread amongst some Dota players right now that share that opinion.
And we're seeing on this first wave. Miracle getting some good hits onto Supreme. See how much you can find underneath his tower. So not going to be too easy, though. Miracle continues to keep that pressure up on these early levels.
Yep, same as last game. Just really pressuring with the level 2 timing. Like, you can see that he just pushes the lane, rushes level 2, and then just pokes you under tower, which it doesn't seem to be matchup specific. He just does it on Leno.
Now top lane, Alliance, they will be able to kick things off with the first blood there. Catching Kuro, and Zaramis, and Leslau. They do have pretty good beef when they get on top of this Brimstroke. Kuro is going to have to be cautious with his positioning, especially once the levels are there for the snap fight. Aramis able to set up a lot of physical damage with that little shredder as well, and the punches of the breaker.
Yeah, Grimstroke is just so rough against any sort of minus armor, really low armor hero. Aramis with Blightstone and his little shredder, just able to put in a ton of work in this lane. The thing is, though, I feel like ILTW, if you're just farming, he can chill down. He can chill up there and farm.
On bottom, looking for GH, and he's a little too speedy. Around the trees, he is able to make his way out of it. One turn towards mind control. He's a bit tankier, of course, than the Bane, and that will be enough to keep him safe. Also has a few stick charges.
Dude, they're pressuring so hard down here. Not a lane that you normally know how to deal with. What an extension. I didn't realize he extended that far when he right-clicked people. Good lord.
Go.
I mean, he's basically a ranged hero. That's gotta hurt. Not a good place to get stabbed.
No.
Yeah, down here in this lane, Nigma Galaxy, they have only 3 tangos left between them. So Alliance is putting on a ton of pressure. They still have a salve advantage on Handskin. So it's just such a strange lane to deal with. Luna Mars, like, it's not something anybody has experience versus. More tangos coming on the courier. Yep, that's Dota right now. If you're a support, you've got a donkey that has something green on it for the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah, especially in these sort of battle lanes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nigma Galaxy, they do want to try and punish
wave.
this Luna and make it not an easy start for Nico Baby, but indeed, Hanskin can do a solid job of pushing them back. Cover in the mid. And it's still Miracle having the edge. Of course, we'll see how things come into play when the further rune control comes in. Top lane RTW. Oh, very close to getting brought down. I mean, we really are seeing the damage from these two heroes, even against the Kunkka early on. It is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing really well up here on Alliance. Another lane that...
They've got Cookie in a second if they want to try and go for this under the tower. They will. Put the tower, the creep wave pushing in. And again, little Shredder coming into play. Charge over. They'll get the job done, Alliance. Getting another kill up top. Aramis very low, but RTW got nothing else to try and clip the Snapfire with. So Alliance getting the kill and getting away with it.
Yeah, they're pressuring super hard. I mean, this seems to be why they did the kind of hero swap.
Yeah,
they just feel like they just feel like that lane is going to be a lot stronger, and it does. Yeah, I mean, they're owning. Both of the side lanes actually are going very well for them. Not the mid lane though.
Yeah, but I think that this is what you expect, right? I feel like out of a Quap lane.
Lena Quap,
especially you know, this is Miracle after he's had one game to warm up, and he did pretty well in the warm up, you know. So coming into the second match against him on the mid was never going to be fun for Supreme, but we've seen Quaps before, even if they do get punished in the lane. Nowadays, a good Quap player can make a recovery, and as you say, Supreme, it is one of his more comfortable heroes. So whilst the lane might not be easy, there's still very much a chance that we'll see Supreme get his way back into the game elsewhere.
And on the top lane, God, what's wrong with me today? Aramis pressuring quite hard, bot lane as well. Luna Aura plus the Mars W. Lots of damage with that extra plus 17 that he's got.
Adds up.
I mean, it's a lot.
I mean, see, top lane Aramis. He's just constantly going for Kuroki. They're going to go in with a charge, and they might just be able to take him down again. He's into the trees. Oh, and look at the stun off. Torrent as well holds back the Spirit Breaker, but lets down Aramis. They're still going in for Kuro. He'll cut his way through the tree line. That was the only tango that he did have left. But it was enough to get him down into the side here. And they should still have a solid job of finding him. They do. Cookie in. I'll be able to take out Kuroki again. He is not having a fun time in the safe lane.
You know, I feel like if I'm Leslau, it's like you're 2-0, so you're happy at this point. But he's not bashing.
At the back-to-back courier snipes there. GH got this earlier whilst it was trying to bring out the tangos and the bands. He just got it again, and he got both of them. So the complete regen backup wiped out there on that bottom lane as GH, and there's about his third courier sniper in the first 5 minutes.
Dude, Miracle, while the courier sniping was happening, solo killed Supreme mid. Just
that's not good.
A kill with Laguna. Yeah,
I mean, it's been a rough lane, and yeah, Supreme, he's been trying to hold on, get what he can without losing his life, and now Miracle has been able to push him over the edge. Now, yeah, as I said, he can make a recovery on the quad, but it's going to be very, very hard, especially against Alina, a couple of levels ahead of him. And as I say, the Miracle
here.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Was not able to throw anything out to Supreme there. He's had his eyes on the courier instead. I'll be able to look towards Aramis. Doesn't want to go up to the high ground. Doesn't quite know if there's a chance turning around. They do have that high ground ward, but deciding against it, they'd rather have to focus back on mid. Of course, this is the bigger kill to get if they've got the burst, but they don't quite. Supreme able to make it back underneath the tower to safety, but still just having to play incredibly evasively against Nigma Galaxy. He's very vulnerable in the mid lane right now.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Yeah, man, this just hurts to see. I mean, everybody's had a game of Dota like this where you just give a kill away at the wrong time, and Miracle's being such a pain in the ass.
Like sneaking around it. He's gonna get Aramis. He's got a Laguna. There we go. Another one for Miracle in the mid. Does this tower 7 minutes in?
Yeah,
taking some heavy pressure.
This is, I mean, this is just an immense amount of pressure. And the thing is, like, Miracle getting that kill there it's a kill. You're cool with that, right? That's great. But the worst part about it is Supreme is still level 5. He just got zoned from like 3 or 4 creep waves. He's up against a level almost 8 Miracle. I mean, what a stomp. Yeah.
But he did, as I say, he
doubling his network, dude.
But this is the thing where he kind of signed up for it. You know, they played against me in the last game on the DK, and Supreme was like, you know what, let me try it with the quad this time.
Yeah.
It was always going to be harder. Maybe he didn't quite expect it to be as tough as it's played out.
My goodness. Yeah, this is... I mean, how the hell do you recover from this? Like, you need your Queen of Pain to get some space. And Lelis is having a decent game, so he can probably make it for his co-op.
Supreme's going to try and come in and get some action down bottom, but... I mean, they know even in a Sonic Wave, it wouldn't be enough to nuke through Mind Control at the moment. He's going to be fine. That's not enough burst damage. Mind Control's able to walk it off. And in a game where you're behind as a co-op and you're looking for every little thing to try and get you back in, when your first Sonic Wave doesn't get you some action, that's now 2 minutes that you're under-leveled, and without the Sonic Wave, can't really have much impact. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, and he's got 2 levels in Shadow Strike, so he was playing for the lane dominating build, and so he's not really able to farm as quickly right now and recover. So that,
I mean, look at this as well. Kura and GH, they've just been sitting around the mid, setting up for all these kills for Miracle to pick up. He grabs another one, few hundred gold away from what looks to be sort of a pre-10-minute boost to travel.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I like that they're sitting here. I mean, they're just identifying like how poorly this lane is going for Supreme, and that they can massively pressure the tower just by existing here. It's like we saw what the Bane plus Lina did in the last game. If you can get a Nightmare after the Lina stun, you set up for the next one, and so you're gonna get a kill. Like even without Laguna, you'll probably get a kill. So just being here from Nigma means that they're getting all of this pressure on the map, and then you have a Kunkka in the side lane. Like he doesn't care. He's gonna keep farming. Nightstalker's gonna keep farming. It's nighttime. He's super comfortable.
And I feel like there's going to be that sort of ever-looming pressure on the comp in the sense that, you know, we've all been in these games where you play this sort of hero mid that wants to make these moves, get these kills, but when you're playing against a team where the 2 side lane cores are like some of the beefier heroes in the game, it's just very hard to see when you're going to have a window to do much with this mid-quad, right? You're never going to have the burst to take down a Nightstalker or a Kunkka. These are not fun heroes to jump into and try and combo.
You probably need to go with both of the supports, to be honest, and just try to kill Kunkka. But you also don't want to lose the mid tower, so I can see why they're sitting here, but it almost feels like it's a lost cause at this point.
So they're going to go for GH, and they will get him. Quick setup from Leslau. Gets the kill put into place for Supreme.
Okay, Okay, so they get a kill using Lelis' strength here. He's got his Oblivion Staff completed on Lelis, phase boot, so he's tanky, does a good amount of damage.
Radiant's
they
bottom
can
tower
make some
is
things
under
happen
attack.
based off of his strength for sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's really possible to
Radiant's
hold this
middle
tower, though.
tower is
I
under
understand the
attack.
desire to do it because losing your mid tower early, especially in like a crushing lane like this, it's just one of the worst feeling things. At least they get to deny.
A bit of morale there for the team.
Okay, now, oh, hands. I
think he's looking pretty dead.
That is a solo kill on a catapult wave.
Top lane, that's a dead Spirit Breaker. Mid lane, oh, Miracle being sneaky.
He is just not letting up, man. Like,
I mean, is he going to get something with this? Were they aware? I don't think they would be aware he's coming in.
I think they saw that he picked
they
saw that he picked the invid.
Oh, look at that! I bet the old Tumbler's toy action gets Nico Baby to safety. It won't save Aramis, though. He goes down. And, well, Alliance see if they can catch any members of Nigma Galaxy. Spirit won't quite have the range to put GH the tree. Supreme, oh, he jumps in.
He blinked in.
He blinked in.
Okay.
And didn't quite have anything to turn around and catch him with immediately. Charge over from Leslie, able to get it onto the two of them with the old back off. A miracle, they will burst Belina. Meanwhile, ILTW is in with the combo onto Nico Baby, takes him down. For on GH, they will be chased upon. Supreme up to the high ground, brings down Kuroki. And now they have RTW coming in with a hard hit, so they got enough to take out Supreme. They don't. He's out and away. Will get X-Mark back, but with the arena control, they take out ILTW before he's able to get his hands on Supreme again. So, all things said and done, Alliance had a good hit back there. They take the fight on their side of the map. And Supreme able to get involved in some of this action, which is going to help propel him back towards where he wants to be in this game.
Yeah, Lelis has his full Echo Saber completed now, so Alliance looks a lot better when playing in a game where Lelis is empowered and also is a hero that can go in and start stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
Lelis is definitely carrying this portion of the game, it feels.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, and not something you would necessarily expect a Spirit Breaker to do. I mean, it's a stunning...
And look at this Tumbler's toy. Ooh, baby. Beautiful jump there from Nico Baby. And I mean, it's a big start. Maybe if Nico Baby dies there, then now there's a little bit of damage output to help fight back. There
was no sentry there, right? It's just...
I think just sort of the animation begin, right?
Bottom tower has
I mean, that's just impressive.
I mean, yeah, lightning reflexes there from Nico Baby.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Jail does that to you. It gives you these just absolutely mind-blowing reflexes.
Well, I mean, because, you know, Nico Baby
always have to be defensive.
He had a tough game in game one. Maybe that's the sign of the start of, you know, things kind of just switching on from here in this game too.
It's very anime sort of.
Yeah. Maybe this is the turnaround. Top lane. He's maybe going to be able to be put on hold as he takes a full combo to the face. He's going to be fine though. The arena's out. Lelis charging in on the back lines, holds back the two supports, but GH is still able to get the grip down onto Hand. Handskin goes out. Aramis as well also caught there thanks to the soulbind of Kuroki.
Radiant's top
Nigma Galaxy, they'll take the three of them. They'll lose ILTW.
Radiant structures.
But they'll take the favor here. It's 3 for 1, and this tier 1 to go down. They're seeing if they can set up onto Supreme, and not quite. Supreme makes it out with the blink. And won't actually be able to push out the tower yet either.
Dude, Supreme got a lot of XP for that kill, because that was technically a solo kill on ILTW there.
Is under attack.
Because his dagger ticked him down way away from anybody else.
Yeah, I think so. After sort of Roman wore off. He was left low mid lane. Supreme's coming to help out. There's 4 heroes here. Yeah, he's got to be cautious. We'll blink away. So lose Hansken underneath the tower quite quickly after he's back in the game. Still a 4K lead here for Nigma Galaxy. And I guess one sort of saving grace for Alliance this time around is that Nigma Galaxy can't really do Roshan that easy with their lineup this time, so unlikely to lose that objective early on if they lose fights like this. And of course, they themselves, they have the much better effort around Rosh. So if Alliance could take the fight, they could take the Roshan. Okay, GH here with a quick setup. Looking Leslie and Aramis. TP's coming in from Nigma Galaxy, but Alliance would still be happy to fight this. So Lelis, he's ready to get back in on top of mind control. Supreme, be able to break him away from the silence with the cookie. Further TP's coming in. The kiss is starting to get laid down as Lesnar is going to look to get in on this. Great knockback with the ultimate jump ball from Supreme with the burn. Lennis, he's going to be able to set up for them to kill off Miracle. Stays on top of the back lines here, pushing Kuro into the trees. Hanskin's got the lockdown control onto ILTW. So RTW will be able to step out of the arena as it comes to an end. Another bash thrown in from Lesnar. They try to turn in onto the Spirit Breaker. The boat comes crashing down as well onto him. They'll finally be able to get rid of that pesky Spirit Breaker. By the looks of it, Hanskin as well. Jump over onto the Mars. The torrent catch from RTW takes down Hanskin. And the grip set up as well. Cause of the death of Aramis. And they will manage to take out the three of them at the end of it all. It was a good start from Alliance there, but just goes on a little too long, and they try and force it too much, and it cost them 3 lives.
Yeah, I mean, that's the like, that was a great start. That was really cool that they were using the Snapfire Kisses to set up for the Spirit Breaker charge.
In the river.
He's pretty tanky.
He has got an inventory, but there's detection they do. Sentry's down on the ground.
Okay, yeah, that's not quite tanky enough. And yeah, 2 levels, Crippling Fear. Grimstroke Bug, like there's so much silence to do.
Nico, baby. He's in a pretty scary place up high. I don't think they're getting the squishy Luna out of this safely. They're not. And with a Nightmare set up, GH is ready to set it up into a couple of kills here to add to the tally of Nigma Galaxy.
Yeah, man, Nigma just, they look hungry in both of these games.
You see the builds with phase drums on the Kunkka.
Yeah, they're just hunting. They're playing for early game completely. They've looked so good since they've pivoted to this sort of play style where they have ILTW on something that's much more active and then Miracle on something that can be active but also farms.
And Hanskin is trying to hide in the trees, but with the night time of the Night Stalker mind control, he sees it all.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Alliance, they're just bleeding, man. They're just bleeding after that dive towards the top lane.
I mean, it's starting to go a similar way to game 1, right, where we've really got to see Alliance pull themselves together and make one of these coordinated moves. We've really got to look towards the Imps. They're attempting to get online. Nico Baby and Supreme, they're definitely making the calls to say we want to get these BKBs on before we fight. So, I mean, we just see Nigma Galaxy have a bit of a poke at Roshan, but as I said, they're not really going to be able to do Rosh that quickly. So we'll see if they do try and force it. Now, I mean, R2W, he wants to.
Yeah, Lina's probably the best Rosh taking hero.
Yeah, Miracle's got some damage.
On this side of it, when that's the case, it's not so good. But they have such an advantage that they can basically take it, whatever fight.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's not fast. They're more than happy to take a group to head on head.
Yeah, LTW is actually going for a BKB, but he just goes for the Ogre Axe and then is going into an AC, so they feel...
Oh, okay.
Wait, they're giving Miracle solo XP for this? As well as smoking out? This is cool. This is really cool, because you're not expecting this timing.
Hanskin's not expecting this. As they're on the way, and they'll certainly be able to take him out at the same time as well. By the looks of it, from the bottom tower, they've come in and wrapped around on the rest of Alliance. They've caught Lelis.
All right, that was sick. Like, I don't think I've seen that before.
Because what's with the team making a move before Roshan does?
Because imagine you hear Roshan has fallen to the Dire, and then all of a sudden people show up a second later. You're just like, what the hell?
Yeah, mentally you don't expect.
No, absolutely
because you're right.
Not.
Yeah, you're right. You sort of get this image of where they are.
Where they are based on when the Rosh falls, and then so you can play like that and be like, oh, I'm gonna chill here for a bit and then leave in 2 seconds from now.
Yeah,
like that.
I mean, it caught them massively off guard. Suddenly they were losing a hero near the river, and they were losing someone else down bottom.
They're totally not ready for that. I mean, that was just sick. That was really cool. That was a sick call. Which Nigma, even when they're losing and you know looking bad as a team at the start of the tour, they've always made really good calls like that. Like their smokes are super high quality. Which when you have a captain like Kuro, it makes sense. But it's cool to see that. I mean that's innovative.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're certainly not looking rough today. 19 minutes in, and it's already looking like Nigma Galaxy are going to have a pretty comfortable game in the bag here. Unless Alliance can come in with something surprising once the BKBs are up for their cause. If the fight doesn't go well when Supreme and Nico Baby turn up with the BKBs, it's very hard to really see timing later on in this game where Alliance are really going to be able to hit back hard. It's going to get more and more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest timing that Alliance had was Nico Baby's BKB on Luna, but now that there's an Aegis in hand for Nigma, it's not important. It's really not important. You have Fiend's Grip, which goes through BKB.
No.
You have these tanky heroes, Kunkka Boat. You're going to be able to delay until the BKB's down.
Supreme, and he's been caught. A few hundred gold before the BKB's out. As any way of trying to save him, there isn't. The soul bind into the Sinus locks down the two of them. As they've just got to get out Alliance. Aramis TP's away. Nico Baby boys, his long TP. And they've got him.
Boy.
It's a longer TP, I believe, and he didn't want to pop his BKB before he went for it because he felt that he was going to be out in time. He was not. 3 more kills for Nigma Galaxy, and things continuing to fall apart for Alliance.
Miracle has a DD bottle too, just to make things worse. Your Aegis hero now able to do a ton of tower damage.
Close to an MKB as well.
Tower has fallen.
This is rough. This is really rough. I mean, Nigma's just been super on point today, though. Like, this is not looking like an easy team to beat in general right now. They're looking really strong in all of the games that they play, but like today specifically, they've been hungry for blood, man. Like, they're just hunting constantly.
I've been crushing it.
No downtime whatsoever in their gameplay. Like, they're not being lazy at all.
Money to burn.
You see smokes like that Roche smoke, and we've seen a few of them in this series. Like, they're thinking about Dota today.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't really seen any of Nigma Galaxy's members just get caught out, you know, in sort of random positions. It just hasn't happened today in the series. Any deaths they've had, it's been a support, getting a job done somewhere, or in a sort of a team fight that, you know, Nigma Galaxy have chosen to take. You know, I think we had one sort of move in the first game where Alliance did catch them by surprise, but other than that, Nigma Galaxy's just had full read on Alliance's moves.
Admiral is on board.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a team that can, you know, people always make the excuse or that you know, they've already secured a slot in the major, or they don't care about the earlier seasons, or, you know, whatever. There's always these excuses. Like, this is a team that can look weaker at times based on who knows what. But no, they're looking on point. They're looking on point recently. It's interesting that there are teams like that where their like potential's really high, but sometimes they just are not hitting that potential. And then there's other teams that are somewhere in the middle, but always somewhere in the middle.
Dire are
See the scan here, Nigma Galaxy, they're ready to charge straight up for the high ground. Arena down from a handskit, trying to stop the chase, but they're still able to reach out to get the soulbind set up. BKB's out from Supreme. They'll try and turn and help out, but they've already lost Leslau. Supreme with the last few seconds of his BKB having to blink away. Mind control chasing down with the nighttime on top of the Mars. Handscan's out. The boat's coming over. Nico Baby has to pop his BKB to get out of there, but Supreme's been left on the low ground. Another pick off here for Nigma Galaxy as they take out the 3 of them, and already on the backlines, GH set up for a 4th. The controls there onto Aramis. As Nigma Galaxy, they are just taking whatever they want at this point, and Alliance, they just have no counterplay.
Yeah, this Nico Baby BKB is feeling like he's alone. Okay, but also mind control, it's not nighttime, so yeah.
Yeah, he was standing a bit close there, but did as you say, trusting in the sunlight to save him.
Yeah, I can see why mind control is going for that, though. It's like 1v5, you know, you're going to look for something, but he's a little too far.
Oh, we'll have the casualty of a GH on the back off. Well, that is all.
Die with honor.
Everybody else very easily out of that. And Alliance, they're going to smoke up here with Vansken and Leslie. They've got the arena in 10 seconds. Nico Baby being used almost as the bait. And Nigma Galaxy are going to go for this. So Alliance, they want this fight to happen. Will it actually work out the way that they plan, though? As the charge over towards mind control. Leslie still trying to get in. Supreme jumps forward, but immediately Soulbind comes out. BKB is there from the 2 cores, but again, they have to sort of step away. Arena's in play, but Miracle pops the BKB. He's punching into Nico Baby, chasing down this arena. Nico Baby cannot escape. A charge over comes out, but they cannot stop Nigma Galaxy from running them down one by one. Torrent out on a handscan, the Mars to fall. Alliance, they had to split.
It's for you.
I mean, and that clearly was a move that Alliance themselves were trying to set up. With the smoke up from the 2 of them, Nico Baby on the push, but they don't get anything with it. And when you sort of see that move fall apart, you've got to wonder if there's anything left in the can here for Alliance. They'll get a tier 1 in the mid lane.
Under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
He cancels. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, that was best case scenario for them. They had gotten a pick off on GH position 4, important hero to pick off. Also, it was not nighttime and 60 seconds on mind control's ult. Still, he just got the ult on mind control, so like he was effectively not a hero in that fight. But they just say, okay, Miracle does enough damage. We can still easily fight this. ILTW will frontline, and yeah, Nigma was right. They read that situation like a book.
It's just at this stage, how does
Dire's
Nico Baby
top
get in
tower
on this
is
fight?
under
Because he really does feel like he pots BKB, so does Miracle, and at this point, Miracle with the stacks built up with the Fire Soul and the MKB, he tears through the Luna.
He does, and like ILTW too, has 2,700 HP, like he's not dying.
Unless now, he's going to try and start things onto Miracle. Expensive Nightmare comes out, buys time for Miracle to pop the BKB, grips now on the Supreme. Lesnar also the full Nico Baby's getting in on the backlines with the BKB and the Eclipse. Miracle able to get out of the arena with the last second of the BKB into the trees as well. Now at the distance to turn, punch back into Nico Baby. They're just going to call it. They've had enough alliance. GG is called. Is he going to be able to get the Rampage to close up the series? We'll see if he's able to. They've got the control onto Hanscan, and he certainly does. Miracle finishes it off with a Rampage. As this series, I mean, it really was just all Nigma Galaxy. Alliance just a little all over the place today. Jenkins and Nigma Galaxy, they punished that perfectly.
It's one of those series that like you would hope, you might even think that it would be more competitive based on how the start of the tour went, but it's just so hard for Alliance. They have looked like they've not really meshed together throughout the entire tour, whereas Nigma, they figured out how to make this patch work.